I zdravo svima, moje ime je Gospodin Jaje.
A moje ime je Gospodin Tost.
Danas ćemo raditi naš prvi reacting video. Reaktovat ćemo Meni is the smartest curtain in the diary of the wimpy kid. To je napravljeno od Čeza. Ovo će biti na engleskom da se svi brzo razumemo. Ajmo da krenemo.
If you've read at least one of the Diary of Wimpy Kid books, you've known of this little devil gremlin known as Meni, who is apparently a 3-year-old. But I can prove to you that Meni is actually really smart just by looking at the books we have as proof. And at the end of the video, you'll start to see that Meni is not actually who you think he is. In Wrecking Ball, when the Heflies are trying to get their house renovated, they get a bunch of complaints from their next door neighbors because of the construction going. While this is happening, Meni apparently found a toy toolbox and scrap wood from the dumpster and started building a house. Now, I'm no master architect or anything, but there is no way that someone could actually build a house using scrap wood and a playset of toy tools, unless you're Meni. Then it's possible. Seriously, like this kid is 3 years old and somehow he's able to build a house with only a playset and some scrap wood. But it gets better. While the Hefley family were too busy doing this, Meni apparently finished the house and opened a housewarming party with a bunch of fellow 3-year-olds. And to think that this is all from toy tools and scrap wood. Did the Heflies just have infinite wood at the back of the house? Or did Meni just find some duplication glitch? Because there is no way Meni used only scrap wood to build this mansion. It even looks better than the Hefley house itself. So let's get this straight. Meni Hefley can apparently build a whole mansion from scratch using toy tools and somehow has the intellectual capacity of an architect to support his house, pay for all the fines he needs, accommodate a party of a bunch of 3-year-olds, and at the same time be 3 years old. Yep, that makes sense. In the long haul, Susan accidentally locks the car keys inside the car and has this brilliant idea of doing this whole Mission Impossible sequence with Meni. So they do it, and obviously since Meni is a literal genius, he finds a way to drive the car. He could have gotten away with a Hefley car too if it wasn't for his short height, but that's not all he did in this book. When the Hefley family was eating at some diner, Meni had to go to the restroom, so Susan made Greg take Meni to do his business while on a leash. But while Greg was waiting for Meni to finish, he used his ninja skills to climb into the toilet and go inside of it without drowning in any poop or piss, and somehow ended up finding himself on the side of the road waiting for a hitchhike. And the reason he apparently did all this Ocean's 11 Missions Impossible bullcrap was because he wanted to run away because his family gave away the pig. How he managed to do this, I have no idea, but there is no way regular 3-year-olds can pull this type of stuff off. Apparently, when Greg went inside the bathroom, Meni was already gone, so either Greg is just really oblivious to his surroundings like some sort of Skyrim NPC, or Meni somehow pulled everything off without a single peep. But that's not all that he's done in this book, because in the last few pages when the Hefley's van broke down, these random 2 Spanish guys came to help them out. But Frank and Susan couldn't communicate with them because they didn't know English, and the Hefleys didn't know any Spanish. But when they thought all hope was lost, Meni pulled out his big brain moves and spoke perfectly fluent Spanish to these guys. Keep in mind, this kid's 3 years old. So he speaks Spanish with these guys, and then let the Hefleys get in the car. But that's not where Mani's genius ends, because instead of Meni telling the Spanish guys to drive them home, he tells them to drive them to the zoo instead.
To tačni, probajte to da prevedete da vidite da li to tačno znači da li možete da nas prevezete do zoo.
Where the family gave away the pig, so he could take it back home as a pet. This kid is literally playing 4D chess, and we are...
Greg je bila, a taj lik Čezori, kako se zove? Čez je crna.
To je smešno. Baš mi se sviđa što ima to zeleno oko
in his master plan. In cabin fever, the Hefley family get locked inside their house because of a snowstorm and had no electricity at all. They had to ration food and supplies, but not Meni, because some...
Not Meni i Gregov tata, zato što on je bio na putu u tom delu.
How this kid is smart enough to find the electricity circuit box in the house and reroute all the electricity to his room while letting the rest of his family suffer and bow down against him. In hard luck, Meni pulled a Sigma 3-year-old move by drawing a bunch of scribbles and selling...
Okay, znači, puts no effort, drawing charges relatives profit. Ne, znači ništa nije trebalo.
I mean, his drawings weren't even good, but he still charged money for it and made a killing. So not only is Meni super smart, he also knows how to make money without putting in any actual effort. Alright, let's do some quick, big brain, 200 IQ Meni moments. In the meltdown while Greg was doing chores, he figured he'd let Meni sit in the back deck of the house, which is basically filled in with walls. And Meni basically overcame this by simply building a staircase out of snow. Talk about Meni busting himself out of prison. In the getaway, Meni pulls off a 200 IQ move by pissing himself in public to get out of going to the toddler zone, because apparently they didn't allow...
je meltdown, a moja mjena je lonka, idete vam ga na našem, Vitorove otapanje, a moje dugo putovanje.
Također, u ovom videu se nalazi 15. deo i bit će spoiler, pa ćemo mi to preskočiti da znate.
Pošto i mi nismo
Toddlers
čitali.
who weren't
Zato što u Srbiji to još dalje nije prevedeno. Ako znate kako to radi.
Ja naš drug
And
to
yes,
ima, ali
this-
sada, samo ja znam da je on to ima, ali ja ima sad nećemo ih sam slučaj, neka bude, da ga
Da.
ne gledamo.
actually worked. In Roderick Rules, Manny puts a cookie in Greg's video game system, but
Što
before
lik je platio 200 eura za Gamecube,
Greg
meni.
Halfley could beat the crap out of Manny, Manny instead uses his age to his advantage and says that he is only 3. Of course, he suffered no repercussions. In the third wheel, Manny made up a bunch of imaginary friends like Johnny Cheddar and Tiny Jim. Manny probably knows his imaginary friends aren't real because he instead uses them to get away with things he does. He literally broke a plate and blamed it on Johnny Cheddar, and this ignorant mother, Susan, believed it. Manny didn't get any punishment or any scolding and got off scot-free. In the original Diary of Wimpy Kid book, Greg accidentally made Manny swallow a piece of yarn which he thought was a spider. He then cried to Susan, and then Susan put a seed, a raisin, and a grape on the table
Ovaj deo je smešan.
and told Manny to pick which one resembled the size of the yarn the closest. But then Manny, the smartass he is, did a little trolling and put out an orange, a whole orange from the fridge.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
This kid is actually the biggest brain 3-year-old I've ever seen. In the deep end, Manny somehow saved
Da, ovo je spoiler alert, to nećemo.
it, so everyone started to evacuate.
Znači ovaj deo je samo objašnjava.
In conclusion, Manny is an all-powerful being. At only 3 years old, he's bilingual, can fluently speak Spanish, build a house with toy tools from scratch, manipulate and lie to people, drive cars, make big brain high IQ imposter plays, and on top of all, he can make money without putting in any actual effort. Some people say Roderick is the smartest character in the series, but I beg to differ. In my opinion, Manny is the smartest, most big brain high IQ person in all of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. But we definitely haven't seen his biggest scheme yet. Who knows, maybe we'll get to see Manny kill his family in the next book. But for now, that's basically it. And also, before I end this video, please stop commenting about Big Shot in my other video. I rate it as an A tier. Please leave me alone.
I pre nego što završimo ovaj video, želimo da kažemo da ako dobijemo 10 lajkova i taj video ćemo da reaktamo, ali to bi bilo sve za danas.
Pozdrav!